Let's go!
In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Disney worlds that I want to see come to Kingdom Hearts 4. Now, I already did a video similar to this a few months back, but a lot of you seem to enjoy it, and in this video, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm not just going to give you my personal wish list of Disney worlds for Kingdom Hearts 4, I'm also going to try to realistically rank them from not going to happen to definitely going to happen. To do this, I'm going to make some logical assumptions based off of the previous Kingdom Hearts games, along with analyzing their decisions for Disney worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3. First off, I just want to note that there's only 2 Disney worlds that return from the previous Kingdom Hearts games in Kingdom Hearts 3, that being Olympus and 100 Acre Woods. All the other worlds are completely original and never been seen before in Kingdom Hearts. Although all these new Kingdom Hearts 3 Disney worlds are impressive by their scale and graphic features compared to the previous Kingdom Hearts games, a lot of people had issues with some of the world's stories, specifically Kingdom of Corona and Arendelle. Throughout Kingdom Hearts' 20-year lifespan, the Disney worlds normally followed the story beats from the movies they were based off of. However, with Sora, Donald, and Goofy in the mix, they would interweave the themes from Kingdom Hearts in with that Disney movie. Some Disney worlds did it a lot better than others, just simply because the Disney movie's themes matched perfectly with that of Kingdom Hearts. In addition, a lot of the Disney worlds used in the Kingdom Hearts games before Kingdom Hearts 3 were before the 2000s, so they had a lot more liberty with the IPs because Disney was not using these properties for any new projects. They weren't using Aladdin, they weren't using The Little Mermaid, they weren't using Beauty and the Beast besides the live action versions of these properties, so I personally believe they had a little bit more creative freedom when it came to messing around with these Disney world stories. However, with Kingdom Hearts 3 that was not the case because they're starting to get more relevant and recent IPs that are going to have sequels, like Frozen, which leads to the discourse on the story from that Disney world. Because the story is literally just the Frozen story, but Sora, Donald, and Goofy are copy-pasted in, and they're not really in the story. They're kind of like behind it. They're watching it by proxy. Kingdom of Corona, it's sort of the same way, except they're a little bit more a part of the story. They're a little bit more in the world. Although Pixar was very stingy with the Toy Story world, they did a great job of making the themes of the Toy Story universe match with Kingdom Hearts. So that would be the counterexample, along with Monstropolis. Monstropolis, I think, was great. Instead of rehashing the Monsters, Inc. story, they decided taking the story from right after Monsters, Inc. wrapped up. So now they're using laughter instead of screams. My point is, we have to be careful when we're criticizing Square Enix and the team behind Kingdom Hearts because they are limited to what they can do with these Disney properties. I honestly think that for the future of Kingdom Hearts, it's going to be more like the Frozen and the Kingdom of Corona style of storytelling because of how tight-knit Disney is. And I'm not crapping on Disney, it's a business move. They're trying to sell these movies, they're trying to sell these franchises, and they want to make it as true to that experience so that way people will play Kingdom Hearts and be like, oh, I haven't seen this movie, let me go ahead and now get it on Blu-ray or go on Disney Plus, subscribe to Disney Plus, and watch it because I love playing this world in Kingdom Hearts. It also works vice versa. Oh, I watched this movie, now I want to play Kingdom Hearts. See, it works hand in hand, but if the story is too different from one another, people might get confused. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I think that's the direction in which they're going. Still looking at Kingdom Hearts 3, there's only 2 reoccurring Disney worlds, that being Olympus and 100 Acre Woods. I do not think that we are going to be getting reoccurring worlds ever again in Kingdom Hearts besides 100 Acre Woods, which is the one world that breaks the 3 criteria I have come up with for this list. Speaking of the list, here's the 3 criteria I have came up with for deciding what worlds are going to be in Kingdom Hearts 4. 1. The worlds have to be a Disney Pixar property after the year 2000, which is absolutely crazy to me that now 2000 movies are considered classics. The second criteria I have for these Kingdom Hearts 4 Disney worlds is that they can't be from Disney or Pixar movies past the year 2022. Looking back, the Kingdom Hearts 3 development trailer that was released way too early, by the way, was in 2013. When looking at all the Disney worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3 and the year that their movies that they're based off of came out of, the newest one is Big Hero 6, which came out in 2014. Meaning that they had all these worlds already decided pretty much by the time of development. Now, like I said before, we might not be getting any news on Kingdom Hearts 4 coming up, but if they're starting development already, they're already got the worlds locked in. They've already checked with Disney and Pixar, and I don't think they're going to be adding worlds past this year. Lastly, as I said before, we are not going to be getting any reoccurring Disney worlds from previous Kingdom Hearts games. No Agrabah, no Wonderland, no Neverland. We're done with Olympus finally. Those stories have been completed for a long time now, and I think a lot of people are going to be upset if we keep seeing them, especially since they're in so many of the spin-off games and even the mobile games as well. So there you have it. For this list, they have to be from Disney and Pixar movies between 2000 and 2022. And they cannot be repeating worlds from previous Kingdom Hearts games. Let's get into the list, finally. First, we have the Disney worlds that I really want, but are not going to be in Kingdom Hearts 4, unfortunately. The 2002 hit, well, it wasn't really a hit, which is why I don't think it's going to be in Treasure Planet. Treasure Planet is a classic, but only old people like me are really going to appreciate it if it's in Kingdom Hearts 4, and I do think they're trying to market Kingdom Hearts for a more wide and broader audience than just us old-timers in our mid and late 20s. It would be cool to see the Treasure Planet world take over the Gummy ship, and then you're actually like flying in like a space pirate ship to get the worlds. That'd be really cool, but they're not going to do it, sorry. Then we have Atlantis, The Lost Empire, another hidden gem that didn't really get popular until it got older. It bombed in the box office. A lot of mixed ratings on that one, but I really enjoyed that movie. I think Atlantis would be a really cool world to explore as Sora and the gang, but it's not going to happen. People don't know the movie that well. And then we have Meet the Robinsons, which is a real bummer because Meet the Robinsons, I think the story works really well for Kingdom Hearts. I think it'd be cool to see the graphical improvement because the movie's old. The movie is very old and you can tell, but seeing those characters again with actually good graphics would be mind-blowing. And the themes, like I said, would match Kingdom Hearts very well. You got family, you got friends, you got hearts. I just think it would be a little bit too much. You never really explore the futuristic world of Meet the Robinsons. You kind of just stay at the Robinsons' home where a lot of craziness ensues. It would be funny to fight the bowler hat guy and like the bowler hat Tyrannosaurus Rex, but I just don't, that was my chair. I don't think that's going to happen. And then the big two that are definitely 100% not going to be in Kingdom Hearts 4, and if they were, it would be very polarizing. Some people would be like crying, other people would be crying out of anger. It would divide the Kingdom Hearts community way more than it already is, and that's whether or not Marvel and Star Wars gets in, but I really don't see that happening. I think that's just too much universe expanding. I can always be wrong, but I don't see these properties coming in. I mentioned in my previous video that it would be cool to like be in like a spaceship or like you use your gummy ship in the Star Wars world. It would be out of place a little bit, but it would be kind of funny. You had the gummy ship flying around all these like Star Wars ships, and then you land and you fight like Kylo Ren or Darth Vader, but they're not going to do that, no. Very small chance. A lightsaber keyblade, that would be so cool, but it ain't happening. Alright, so now we're moving on to the very small chance Disney worlds for Kingdom Hearts 4. So I think they might have like a 20 to 30% chance of being in, but I don't really see it. That would be Soul, Turning Red, Encanto, Onward, Princess and the Frog, Luca, Ratatouille. The reason for this is a lot of these movies just recently came out. Turning Red literally just came out at the time of recording. Encanto just came out. I don't think they're going to be in based on my criteria. I think they came out too recently, and if they've already started development of the game, which I hope they have, these two worlds are not going to be in it. Soul, I still think it's too early. I still think 2020 is just too close. And if they're going to put this world in, it would probably be the last of like the recent Disney Pixar movies that we've gotten. The world would be very cool. I've talked about that before, but compared to these other worlds that I've picked out, I just don't see Soul having a huge chance of being in Kingdom Hearts 4. Onward, it didn't do too well, so that's why I have it on here. The story's kind of bland. The world would be kind of cool to be in, but I don't see it. Encanto, I haven't even seen that movie yet. I heard it's really good, but that movie, like I said, is too fresh. Princess and the Frog, it would be cool to see like the bayou and get that kind of feel, but it is a 2009 movie, and the only thing that I've heard about Princess and the Frog is the Disney Plus show that should be coming out, and they're redoing Splash Mountain to be Princess and the Frog themed, so this has a higher chance than the others on this list. I still don't see it being Kingdom Hearts. Them turning into animals doesn't really seem like a route that they want to go anymore. Luca is just Italy, basically, with underwater parts, so I don't think they're going to do Luca. It's a little bit too on the nose, real life world kind of thing. Ratatouille, we got Little Chef in Kingdom Hearts 3 as a mini game, and sometimes summons or characters from mini games do get their own worlds later. It would be kind of hilarious to see Sora and them turn into rats, but I don't really see that going anywhere. The mini game made a lot of sense. I don't see a Ratatouille world being in like a Paris kitchen. Alright, now we're getting into the juicy territory, the coin flip, the 50-50s. They could be in, they couldn't be in, it's really anyone's guess at this point. And that is the Incredibles world, the Enchanted Forest from Frozen 2, Jungle Book, the live action version, 2016, not the classic animation, and then WALL-E. So these are a toss-up, and it could go either way. Incredibles would be amazing to go into their universe and kind of fight alongside the Incredibles family. They could do something similar to Monstropolis, where you get to take on the story after Incredibles 2. I think that would be cool. I think you can do a lot of freedom with storytelling there. Frozen 2, it's a hit. It was still a hit. I didn't like it that much, but people still liked it. So if they bring Arendelle back, I think people are going to be mad if they do the same thing they did for Arendelle in Kingdom Hearts 3. That's all I'm going to say there. Jungle Book, the reason why I have Jungle Book even on here is because, one, they tried putting it in Birth by Sleep and it never really got finished. And then two, the Pirates of the Caribbean world in Kingdom Hearts 3, that was kind of like Nomura's test to the developers to see how realistic they could make everything look. And I feel like if they're going to do that again to show off the future technology of Kingdom Hearts and that engine that they're using, then Jungle Book would be a perfect one, because the terrain, we haven't gotten a jungle-like world kind of in a minute, because Deep Jungle and Tarzan was all the way back in Kingdom Hearts 1, and then if it's the live-action version of Jungle Book, it's more realistic, plus you don't have to turn Sora into an animal, because you have Mowgli, who is a human with the animals, so they could play a lot around with that. And then WALL-E, yeah, very underrated movie. I haven't seen it. People tell me it's so good. It's one of the top Pixar Disney movies out there. I haven't seen it yet. All I know is WALL-E doesn't really talk, and he's basically on a apocalyptic Earth, which would be kind of cool to see, but then part of it takes place in space, and I feel like that could get kind of messy with Kingdom Hearts storytelling. But yeah, these are the 50-50 toss-ups because of multiple factors. I only have 2 worlds for the very likely, and then the rest are definitely happening. So the 2 very likely worlds I have is Kumandra from Raya and the Last Dragon, which everyone's like, well, didn't you just say Soul was too recent of a movie and that came out before? Yeah, I can see this kind of being a thing where they got the details to Raya before, or Raya I should say, before the movie was even released, because it just fits so well with kind of like Kingdom Hearts when you think about it. Kumandra as a world makes sense, just the theory. And then Island of Personalities from Inside Out, because Inside Out was 2015, so it's not super recent, and it's also a very good movie, and the Islands of Personalities would be absolutely fun to explore. And I talked about that in my previous video if you want to check that out, because there's all these different areas that joy and sadness go to help Riley out, and I think they could drop Sora and the gang right in that part of the story and it would work pretty well. And then if they bring back the Unversed, they deal with emotions, and Inside Out deals with emotions, and you get the picture. And lastly, we have the definitely happening. I can see these worlds 100% being in Kingdom Hearts 4, and I'd be very surprised if we don't see them in. So first I have 100 Acre Woods. I already talked about this because in every main title Kingdom Hearts game, Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, you get gummy ships and you get 100 Acre Woods. Whether the 100 Acre Woods world is good is up for debate. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 did a terrible job with 100 Acre Woods, and I don't know how much more they're going to push away from it, but I do see it coming back in Kingdom Hearts 4. That's it. That's the only reoccurring one I have that's definitely happening. We have Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet, so like a Datascape Tron type of world. They can't do all of like the internet tropes and like the Emoji Movie-esque kind of puns and stuff like that, because there's actual like advertisements in Wreck-It Ralph, like Amazon and stuff like that, Google. They're not going to do that for Kingdom Hearts. So I think they're going to do more of the Tron route where there's some data, you know, they already confirmed that there's like a data universe in the Kingdom Hearts franchise. So that could be part of it. Ralph was already a summon in Kingdom Hearts 3. They can expand more on that and really go into like this digital type of space again. And, you know, I'm okay with it. I don't think I would really like it, but I do see it happening. I really do. Then we have Zootopia. This is a straight shot. Like, if they don't put Zootopia in Kingdom Hearts 4, they don't know what they're doing, because the world and the characters are so immersive and so colorful and so vibrant. You have all the different areas in Zootopia. This could literally be one of the biggest maps in Kingdom Hearts 4, because you could go to like Tundra Town and go to all those places. They really want to make Kingdom Hearts bigger and better than any other Kingdom Hearts game. Kingdom Hearts 4, I should say. So Zootopia, please. I want it. I need it. Give it to me. Land of the Dead. This is another one that I'm like, you have to put it in. Even if No Bodies don't return. I think No Bodies would be great for this world. Land of the Dead is so colorful, it's so vibrant. Coco is such a emotionally driven movie. It's so good. You have Miguel in the Disney parades now because of how much of an impact Coco has had. So Land of the Dead is in my number 2 spot for definitely happening. And then last but not least, the Great Sea, aka Moana. There's always some big water world in a Kingdom Hearts game, especially Kingdom Hearts 3 where you have the pirates. Something similar to that would be Moana. And I think they could do a really good job with this and hopefully make the combat on like a raft or something a little bit more enjoyable. But Moana I see as the number 1 world going in. It is so popular, it is so loved, it is so adored. I can definitely see a Moana world coming in. So to recap, the 6 Disney worlds I see in Kingdom Hearts 4 are the Great Sea based off of Moana, the Land of the Dead based off of Coco, Zootopia from Zootopia, because of all the different climates that they can do and the different sections of the world. I think they could really play around with that. Then we have the Datascape, because it ties into the data realm with Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet. And then 100 Acre Woods, because it's mandatory. And then my 6th spot, my final world, Island of Personalities, just because I feel like it would work really well with the theming of Kingdom Hearts, and it is the right time frame. I definitely think these are the 6 worlds we're going to get, and if they give us more, I don't think they will, but if they give us, let's say, 2 more, just like in Kingdom Hearts 3, where we have 8 Disney worlds to go to, I think the Incredibles world would actually be our classic rep, because The Incredibles came out in 2004, so I think that would be perfect to have The Incredibles as that classic Disney World rep, and then Jungle Book, the live action, for that realism. So the 8 are from Moana, Coco, Zootopia, Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet, Winnie the Pooh, Inside Out, Incredibles, and Jungle Book. But once again, these are only logical assumptions that I'm making. I could be very wrong, I could be very right. What do you guys think? Let me know. If you made it this far, then thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hopefully I captivated your attention this entire time. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. It would help a lot, and it's absolutely free. And go ahead and like that video if you enjoyed it. And comment down below on what you think of my list. What is your list? What worlds do you want to see? Give me everything, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I'm OCDsaster, and I hope you let your heart be your guiding key. See ya.